Snow was falling hard when the wagon finally stopped. Thick white flakes buried the road, the fences, the hopes of anyone foolish enough to travel this far in winter. Men waited near the post office, boots sinking into ice, collars pulled high. They had come for a bride, one woman, young and able. Instead, two figures stepped down. A pale young woman clutched a single suitcase, her knuckles red from the cold. Beside her stood an elderly woman, thin and shaking, leaning heavily on a wooden cane. The wind cut through their coats like knives. The whispers started immediately. She brought her mother. In this weather? That wasn't the deal. Clara Whitmore heard every word. She kept her head lowered, shielding her mother, Margaret, from the stairs. She had known this would happen. She had begged the agency to wait until spring, but winter did not pause for poor women. Leaving her mother behind was never an option. Rejection came fast. One man shook his head before Clara finished speaking. Another muttered that winter was already hard enough without another burden. A third said bluntly, "The old woman goes, or both of you do." Margaret squeezed Clara's hand. "We'll manage," she whispered, though her breath came out in painful gasps. Clara's chest tightened. She had crossed half the country believing this was their chance. Now the snow felt heavier, the silence crueler. Then a voice cut through the cold. "I'll take her." The men turned. Ethan Cole stood a few steps back, snow dusting his shoulders. He was known around Pine Ridge as quiet, solitary, a cowboy who had turned away every bride sent before. "I said I'll take her," he repeated. "And her mother." Someone laughed. "You're mad, Cole. Winter's already killing us." Ethan didn't flinch. "That's my choice." Clara looked up. Their eyes met. There was no pity there, only resolve. For the first time that day, she breathed. The ride to Ethan's ranch was silent but steady. He wrapped Margaret in his own coat, ignoring the sting of cold himself. When they reached the small cabin, a fire was already burning. "You'll sleep near the hearth," Ethan told Margaret gently. Clara blinked back tears. Kindness felt dangerous after so much refusal. Days passed under heavy snow. Clara learned the rhythms of the ranch. Feeding animals, mending clothes, cooking simple meals. Ethan worked from dawn to dark, never complaining, never questioning why she had come with her mother. The cold was relentless. Margaret's cough worsened at night. Clara sat awake, fearing every shallow breath. When Ethan noticed, he brought extra blankets and brewed strong tea without being asked. "You don't owe us this," Clara said one evening. Ethan stirred the fire. "I chose this." Town gossip traveled faster than snowstorms. People said Ethan would regret his decision. That no man should take on a sick mother and a quiet bride no one else wanted. Clara heard the whispers when she went for supplies, saw the looks of doubt. One night, she finally spoke. "If you wish to send us away when winter ends, I'll understand." Ethan looked up sharply. "I didn't bring you here to abandon you." The certainty in his voice startled her. Margaret noticed everything. "He looks at you like a man who has been alone too long," she said softly. "Don't mistake silence for indifference." Clara wanted to believe that. Winter tightened its grip. A blizzard came without warning, trapping them inside for days. When Margaret collapsed by the fire, Clara panicked. Ethan rode through the storm for a doctor, frost clinging to his lashes when he returned. Margaret survived, but she grew weaker. One night, she took Ethan's hand. "You gave my daughter safety," she whispered. "That is more than this world ever offered." Ethan bowed his head. "She gave me purpose." Clara heard every word. Spring arrived slowly, painfully, as if winter resisted letting go. Snow melted into muddy paths. The ranch breathed again. When Ethan asked Clara to marry him, it wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, honest. "I won't pretend this is charity," he said. "I want you here. As my wife." Clara searched his face, finding no doubt. "I accept," she said. "But only because you chose us when no one else would." The town was stunned. A rejected mail-order bride. An elderly mother. A cowboy who ignored every rule. Margaret lived long enough to see Clara settled, loved, and safe. When she passed, it was peacefully, knowing her daughter would never face winter alone again. Years later, people still spoke of the stormy day two women arrived instead of one. They remembered the cold. They remembered the rejection. And they remembered the cowboy whose choice shocked everyone. Because he saw worth where others saw burden.